Hello. I look like my name is Jonathan today. I don't even know today what we're gonna talk about. I guess we can just talk about a bunch of stuff. I hate driving, it freaks me out. I've been into so many car accidents, and the way I learned how to drive was very traumatizing to me. My father, was a harsh person, and I understand that it's he wasn't trying to traumatize me. He was more frustrated and didn't know how to deal with it. But it kind of sucks when somebody that doesn't care about someone's mental, emotional health has a kid that requires a lot of emotional support. So it's that's why we never got along. I do respect my dad, but that does not mean I agree with his ways. You can respect somebody without agreeing with everything, and in fact, you can disagree with somebody respectfully. And I try to do my best, but it's really hard when he having lived through all that, I think we both had to. For me, it was more of I had to find a way to deal with people that were like that would scream and yell. I would rather get hit than yelled at and get called names, if that makes sense. My mom, she would just slap us or whatever, and I would be fine. I could forgive her. All that stuff. It was scary at the time because I was just a kid, but it never hurt. I remember unless it was an accident, but it's it was never painful. Even it was just more of to get us to stop. But my dad was more of emotional attack, where if he found out a weakness, he would try to get at you with that. I've always been a guilty person, and I thought that it's because I was up to no good, but in reality it was because my father kind of raised me to believe I was doing something bad all the time, which is kind of sucks. But that's a cool thing about being into psychology and mental health. You get to figure out why you are the way you are and how to work with it. And you're kind of given this weird way of being programmed, and you have to rewire it and figure out what's not connecting properly. So a lot of the times I find myself reassuring, it sucks because I'm so used to being the whole, oh, you're useless every time. It sucks because my dad stopped doing that. I remember it kind of gave me closure, because that's how he would teach me, by the way, all of us. So if you messed up, my dad would say, useless child, and that would hurt a lot. But he didn't do it for very long because we grew up, and he stopped doing it to my younger siblings. He didn't do it as much. And the most recent time we were doing something together, he was doing something for my car, fixing my car, and I was helping him. And when I failed to do it right and I dropped the item, I right away blurted out useless, because I thought that, oh, I know what's coming up next. Let me do it for you so you don't have to do it. But he's like, no, don't do that. And that kind of gave me closure, where it's you don't do that anymore. Maybe I shouldn't, because it's when people program you to be a certain way, you start to keep it up. And I have to stop doing that. That's why it's I call myself, I knock myself down a lot, and it's I'm already on the ground, there's no point. And maybe that's where the, destroying yourself within came from, because we all have a reason for all of it. It's so crazy how I'm talking to you guys about all this, and I'm driving on the road, and because I'm talking with you and having this conversation, I'm not so scared and nervous. Right now, I had to stop and go on the other end, which is the wrong side of the road, because there was a person, some worker doing something with trees, and I wasn't nervous about it because I was in conversation. So it really helps to have somebody to talk to. And that's another thing. My dad would never let me talk to anybody when I was driving, when he was teaching me, and I couldn't have music. So it had to be super quiet and uncomfortable. And now the only way I can drive calmly is with conversation or alone, or alone with conversation. So with you guys, so nobody can see my driving, because it's criticism. I grew up in a very criticistic, I don't know what the word is, but it's everybody was criticized for everything you did instead of encouraged, and it hurt so much. I'm to the point where if I receive any more criticism about my driving instead of encouragement or acknowledging something I did right, I will never do it again. So it's really hard, where it's like I'd rather, it's not the actual driving anymore, it's more of like I'm not good enough. And even when they do, it's almost like a pity, because I communicate what bothers me a lot, and I try to do it in a way where it's like healthy, but a lot of the times people come in too strong because they heard what I said, and it's only that one few time, and then it ends. It's never like a work in process, which is fine. Like, nobody owes me that, but I don't want to be around people that don't feel like my mental health is somewhat on their radar of like, oh, I need to try to be nicer. And yeah, so if you have anything that relates to that, let me know. Sorry, I'm ranting because I'm nervous, and now we're stopped, so I have to pretend I'm not talking to myself. Okay, see, that's another thing. I feel like I learned this word, egocentric. I love that word, but I feel like a phony using it because I really like it, so I'm always trying to put it in conversation. But I feel egocentric every time. I don't even think I'm using it right, but I feel egocentric every time I think people are staring at me, watching me. I guess it comes from like self-criticism, because I grew up in a household where it's like criticism was very important, and it affected your reputation. And that is why I became a maid as a 7-year-old. And now when I'm stressed out and scared, I'll start to clean, because that's what didn't get me into trouble growing up. See? I'm analyzing myself. I don't have to do it anymore. I wonder what everybody does, let me know what you end up doing. It's so sad. That makes me feel like I used to tell my friends, and I still believe in this, but it's very controlling, and I hate that. I ended up very controlling because of my father. I ended up being that way, and I know it is because, well, it's not all their fault. I'm encouraging it within myself. That's the problem with you're born with this certain traits kind of installed and programmed in you, and now it's your job to undo them if they're not right, and kind of reparent yourself. And I do notice I'm very controlling, because I thought, noticing how my father was, I'm like, okay, so you have to be either the controlling one or the controlled. I'd rather be the controlling, because I have mercy for people. I have, I feel for others, so it's like I feel like if I have the upper hand, no one will ever be as bad as my father had, me, emotionally or whatever, And yeah, so one of the controlling things I do is, well, there's a lot of things, but what was it? I was going to mention something where it's like, I almost I want to be nice to people. So if they ever have a reason to hate me, it's it's very hard. You know what I mean? And it sucks because I hate that I always try to go out of my way. It's just, and it's like, who really is my friend? You know what I mean? Who really likes me for who I am? I don't know. I'm just going off of whatever. I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but it's like, this is why, by the way, I went on a long break, because I really I was stuck. When you're going through, oh shit, I don't know if I want to do this, or I don't think I can do this. Anything that is a little inconvenient for you to keep going on this when you already was like, oh, I don't think I can do this, just encourages you not to. So for example, I was trying to upload every Saturday morning for as long as I could, because one of my New Year's resolutions was to upload more often and try to get on a schedule where you know when to accept my call, when I'm gonna call you. And I ended up failing, and when I failed, it just made it easier to fail again. And then the main reason I failed is because I feel like I'm not really, you guys can't take away a lot of what I'm saying, because I don't have any credentials. I don't have any experience. I do have experience with the stuff I talk about, and people can learn from what I say. It just depends. And I really like finding the people that connect with what I'm saying, because all my life I just wanted somebody that would understand me, and now I have it. but I just feel like not good enough, you know? It's like what am I doing? Like, I feel like a joke. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like, I hate to say this, but I've seen a lot of podcasts or like shows where it's like these people that are just, what is it called? Recycling things that have already been established and said before in other places, and it's just like kind of cringy, and I don't want to be like that. And it's like I'm just disappointed because it's like these people really think we haven't heard this in other places a million times before, and they just start to say it as if they came up with it, and it's just like, can we stop? Or they clearly try to be somebody they're not, and it's like, why? And you know, because of that, like I don't want to be like, you know, the way I grew up with, where it's like, ooh, I sped a little bit, I'm sorry. The way others, like when I was treated critically, I don't want to be like that. And that's why I don't want to say all this stuff, but it's like, it's really hard for me to like do stuff when I feel like I'm being that person, you know what I mean? Saying stuff others have said and pretending it was my words. And am I lost? I can't tell, because there's a lot of freaking like green now, and it's crazy. It's like, are we really in Minnesota? But who would have thought? Everything was dead here. Oh wait, I'm taking another route. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Ugh, my gosh. Sorry, that sounds harsh, but I talk to myself like that. And you should have seen before. And okay, so there's this one road that has like a straight line that's like no stop. In the middle of two that are stops, four-way stops, and that one road that people can just go, like no stop, I have a stop. And I almost forgot one time, and I almost got into an accident. I never want to get into an accident again. I have way too many accidents. I always like do you guys ever try to like, oh my gosh, what is it called? What is it called? Not gamble, but like kind of convince God, where it's like, come on, like, see, I shouldn't get into another accident because I've already been in so many, like, please, like, I don't want to, kind of like, not trick, but like convince him that's like, I'm good, come on, I'm set for a lifetime. Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, 70% or more, a little more, of my car accidents were because I had a shitty car, really shitty cars, and my dad wouldn't let me get a new one, even if it was with my own money, because, you know, the controlling part. My dad has calmed down a lot ever since I'm the oldest, so ever since my siblings have grown up, he finds it harder to like justify his controlling actions, if that makes sense. So it's like, it's easier to talk to him, it's easier to be around him now, and yeah, so that's why it's like, it's so much easier. That's how it is. But like, I don't think I could ever have like a relationship with him where it's like, I'm not like, I could connect with him completely, because for me it's like we're complete opposites, other than the only thing we really have in common is that we like to work and we value work, and that's about it. I'm just gonna go beat this car. Ah, run, he's coming for me. I don't want to like be talking about accidents and then like not getting into one and then getting into one. I'm like jinxing myself. I always get scared. Like, I know people mean the best when they tell me like, oh, drive safe, but it's like, what if you just jinxed me? Why are you driving so fast? This is a 55 thing. What is it called? Speed limit. So I talked a little bit in a video about Eugenia and the whole thing about like her shit doesn't get canceled because she makes money and she's like really famous or whatever. So it's like, it's not, something's leaking. I mean, something's like airing out. But yeah, I talked a little bit about that and her. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. It's just, this car is distracting me, to be honest. But yeah, and then I mentioned Boo. So I used to watch Boo for the wrong reasons, if I'm completely honest with you. I watched her because she kind of encouraged my ed. I used her to encourage my ed. She didn't. I used her. And it made me feel less alone in my hell with ed. So I would take advantage of like somebody talking about it for the wrong reasons. However, you can always, you know, she did not put me in that intention. So it's like, that's why I didn't really mention her before, because like I felt bad about it, but I decided I wanted to talk about it too. Like, I really valued her opening up and talking about her problem. because unlike Eugenia, she likes to bring up her issue and not like sweep it under the rug, which I hate when people do. It's like one of my pet peeves, because if everybody would just talk about their problems, it's becoming more common, but like if everybody just talks about their problems, not for pity reasons, more of like venting, but if you need pity, like, you know, do what you need to do, but let's just not live in it all the time. Let's just talk about the struggle and kind of help each other with it. So I eventually realized that my videos in the past were being used like I use Boo's videos, which I really didn't want. So instead of just venting about it, I decided like I wanted to recover, and I didn't want my life to be like that. And I know Boo has tried. What's her name? Ingrid, I think her name is. I'm sorry. But yeah, Ingrid, and it sucks. And if you ever manage to see my video or anything, Ingrid, please message me on Instagram or on here. And I don't know how I could find out it's you, so I could like somehow help you out, because I don't think what happened to her is fair. It's bullshit, basically, because you should not be banned for talking and venting about your problem. You know, and nobody's perfect. If she did mention something that was somewhat encouraging, I don't remember, but if she did, I'm pretty sure Eugenia has done far more damage than she will ever. And I feel very strong about intention is so much more important and should be more taken to account than action, because I don't weigh them the same. Like the action, two people can do the same crime, but the reasoning, the intention can make it. Oh, here, I'm just gonna not do this yet. You're making me nervous, big ass truck. Like, okay, he knows I'm trying to get in here. Thank you. Oh my gosh. The sun is not letting you see my truth identity. Can you see that? I looked like I never go out, and it's probably true. So there you go. It's summer here, and I haven't tanned, and it is, I don't know, I guess it's like, but yeah, so the whole thing about like Ingrid, it's like I really hope she gets her channel back, or she starts a new one, because I don't think it's fair. I think more people should be allowed to talk about their struggles or something, because it helps people like me. You guys helped me talking about it, and you guys connecting with it and going through it helped me get out of it, and some of you joined me, and that feels good. So it's kind of disappointing that, and my channel did get shut down or like removed because of two videos where it's like one of them was me showing you guys how it is to live with this. I can't even say the word. That's how bad it is. Like how it is to live with it. And the whole time in the video, I was miserable. Not once was I happy I had this problem. So I don't know why they did that. It's like, it's bullshit. And another one, I don't know why it got removed. I removed some myself because I'm like, yeah, this is messed up. I'm not putting this out there because it could be used for the wrong reasons. So I removed like two, which I'm like, yep, not doing this. And then two of them, one of them I put a lot of work into it and it was removed. So that was nice. But yeah, that's what happens when you're not famous enough and when you don't make the place enough money to justify what you're doing, because, you know, I just see it. Like, I noticed it, and some of you did point it out when I reached to you guys about my channel getting shut down. I reached to you guys on, what's it called? Twitter. By the way, if it ever happens again, my channel gets removed, you should find me on Instagram, which I will link it down below, where it's like my Instagram. So it's like, in case something happens, that's where you'll find me. That's the easiest way to find me. Another place is Twitter, but I'm like never on there because I'm just not very, it takes me a long time to get comfortable with a social media place, anything really. Oh yeah, another thing that I forgot to tell you guys was, what is it called? Damn it, I'm forgetting everything. Something's wrong with me. I didn't have any ideas for videos. I was just lost, and I'm just like, oh, I feel like not qualified enough. But it's like, if you're just sharing your opinion, I guess you don't really have to be qualified. But I just don't like podcasts and like people that do that, where it's like they just say the same thing and make pretend they made it up. So I didn't want to do it because of that. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm being cringy, people, like, you know, or whatever. And another one was I had two videos ready to go, edited and everything, right? And their thumbnails. And they would not download. So actually the video about recovery update and why I recovered, those are done. They've been done for like a week. The recovery, why I recovered, a week, and then the other one for like a month. So yeah, they were already up, but my phone will not download it, like the edited, like they were finished editing, but I had to download the edited version of them onto my phone so I could put it on the channel. And my phone would not do it. It kept saying not enough space. There's not enough space on my phone, which is funny because I deleted 3 apps and I deleted all my other videos that I had, all my other photos. No photos except the thumbnails and my 2 videos, and they were each like 20 minutes long, and I've had worse and with more apps, and my phone's just like, yeah, no, we don't want to. It's so annoying. It's frustrating. It's like I really need a new phone. Like I know it's because my phone's old because it dies every freaking 5 seconds, and I just can't seem to move on. Like I don't want to let go of this phone because it's like it's been there through everything. So that's why, and it just sucks. But yeah, let me know what your ideas of a good phone for, like, you know, adventures and stuff, because I really have to let it go, and it sucks. And maybe I could buy like an iPad so I can like do all the video stuff on there, because I'm so tired of like having all this stuff ready to go, and the frustration with like, oh man, it's not going to download. Oh, it won't download. Oh, I deleted this again. I deleted Pinterest. I deleted Libby. I deleted like my work app, all this stuff, Facebook Messenger, all of that. I deleted it. It still doesn't have enough space. It's like, what are you talking about? But yeah, that's all I have to say. Let me know what you think of anything, and I'll see you next time. Feel free to give me like a topic to talk about, because I'm kind of lost, and I could always use your help with easing my anxiety with driving. But yeah, thanks. Bye guys.